All right, we're gonna be live in 3.
Thanksgiving is already over, but it hasn't happened yet.
Thanksgiving, that's true.
We're from the future or the past.
I think we're from the past. We're from the past because they're
we're
gonna be
living in the future.
Yeah.
We're acting like
holy shit. So that means there's two of us, two versions of us. Holy crap.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, what's going on, everybody? So, welcome.
How is everyone doing today? Talk back to your thing you're listening to.
True. Hey, are you doing great? You know, was your weekend like really good?
I hope so.
We hope so. Here at the Notallhere podcast.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Wink. So anyway, welcome to episode 5 of the Notallhere podcast. 5 of these. And this is like every week. No breaks, no nothing.
Dang.
Well, we get kind of a break.
Do you want to tell them we just did one yesterday?
Oh, I know. So yeah, so these are like the way when you're hearing this is from the past, like we were saying. So we're recording this on Monday, the 23rd, like the week of Thanksgiving, because we're both going to be going back home. So we were like, let's knock out these episodes back-to-back days. JRB, Jetty over here wanted to do them like the same day, and I was like,
man. Marathons.
I was like, no, let's calm down.
I like marathons over sprints. Hey, yo, real quick, 1 minute segment.
Okay.
Predictions. What's going to happen on the next 1 week? So we have to predict the future. 1 week into the future.
I got it. What's going to happen is Trump is going to announce that he's like, I'm letting y'all win. He's like, I give up.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just predicting.
Wow.
But he's going to be like, you know what, Joe, Sleepy Joe, you won.
Wow.
And then, but he's going to be like, motherfucker, you won. He's going to curse him, and he's like, I'll see your ass in 4 years.
Okay.
That's what he's going to say.
I'm going to predict the opposite. I predict every day he will say the same shit he's been saying on Twitter.
Oh.
I predict I will eat turkey. I predict I will get full.
Oh. Pass out?
Yeah. Well.
You going to fall asleep?
I might. Yeah.
Take a little nap.
And I think this is going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's a good prediction. Yeah. You know, I agree with that one. Let's go with that one instead. Yeah. That sounds pretty good. But welcome to the episode 5 of the Notallhere podcast here with your boy Easy L.
I am Jettison Bombardier.
Any nickname today?
AKA JRB the producer. AKA John Bishop.
John Bishop.
That's my real name.
See, you have this like dope like real name where it's like it almost you sound like a superhero, John Bishop, or it sounds like a rebel, like a cowboy or something.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like,
sounds like a rebel.
It sounds like a hero in a story. Oh, that's John Bishop. You got to be careful with him.
This guy told me that I should go by that name, producer name, but I didn't. I didn't.
Man, you could have went by your real name, and people been like, "Damn, this dude sound like a hero."
Dang, bro.
You know, it is what it is, though. It's all good. So today's episode, we're gonna talk about which. I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it on social media, and like people have been talking about it, but we wanted to sort of bring it up here about Joe Biden is talking about doing another lockdown. Now, at the time that we're recording this, if you're not in Atlanta or wherever you are, Atlanta's wide open. I do some random like little side gigs where I'll shop for people and I'll go to grocery stores, and sometimes I'll go by restaurants and stuff, bruh. It's wide open. Nobody's like taking precautions or nothing. So
what I see, I follow some lovely ladies.
Oh, okay.
And they take their clothes off for money. And what I see is the strip clubs are wide open, no masks.
Man,
I don't frequent those currently.
I haven't in a while.
But I go to the grocery store on occasion. But when I go to the grocery store, literally everyone's wearing a mask. Now, it used to be like half and half. It used to be kind of some people would, some people wouldn't. Now I see everyone wearing a mask. But just looking on my phone, looking through things, it looks like Atlanta is like wide open.
Man, it definitely is wide open. I've actually seen the opposite in grocery stores. I've actually seen more people not wearing masks.
Really? Where?
Like, actually, where we're at here in Atlanta, like at various grocery stores, some people are like, you know what? I'll be fine. It is what it is. I'm dead serious.
When I go to the Publix right up the street, everyone wears a mask.
That's wild. Yeah. This might be more in like other locations, but most of the time, I'll tell you one thing that I did notice is it's a lot of older people who are wearing masks. Yeah. The one who people say are the people who are more susceptible to corona.
Yeah.
Versus like younger to middle age who aren't really wearing masks.
Right.
And so it's like, it's really interesting. It's like, I'm pretty sure like it's going to be interesting people doing studies on that. Like the age versus like the age, like how old people are with like if they're taking it serious, like putting on a mask and stuff like that.
Well, I feel like that's kind of straightforward. I feel like we don't even have to think too hard about that or do a scientific study on that one.
Yeah.
It's like the young people either don't care or don't take it seriously. You know, the whole thing is passing it on to others. You know what I mean?
No, definitely.
And you can feel invincible, and maybe you are a little bit invincible. You're young. You're not susceptible to it as much, but you know, you might pass it on to somebody that's not you.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. That's the thing, which is like one question I wanted to ask you is, you know, let's say, you know, everything goes smooth. Of course, right now with everything that Trump's doing and he's not making like the transition of power like simple or like, you know, easy enough. He's fighting it. But let's just say, you know, next year, Joe's like, whatever, he gets in and he's like, all right, y'all, we're going to lock it down till July. Just to like try to, it'd probably be like a month or two, I'll say. But he's like, we're going to lock it down. Do you think people are going to fight him as hard as they are like now? Or they're just going to be like, all right, whatever?
It depends. So right now the numbers are worse, you know, worse than ever. But the way to do it, if you're going to have a lockdown, you got to give the people money. Yeah. I think this was the problem the first time. They kind of did a lockdown, gave Americans $1,200.
They were like, good luck.
But other countries around the world locked down for months and then gave out multiple payments.
True.
The way it is here, you know, politics and the people in control of all that side of things couldn't agree on, you know, stimulus stuff, blah, blah, blah. And we only got that one payment.
Yeah, true.
I think if there's going to be payments there, people will be more willing to go for another lockdown.
Yeah.
If there's not going to be payments,
people are like, well, I got to get out here and get it.
Yeah, man. I don't know. That has to be the solution. Can you think of another solution?
No, I agree with you. Like, I think there has to be like, all right, y'all, on a monthly basis. Like, I think you had told me earlier what Bernie had tweeted was like, everybody, the Americans who make a certain amount of money that are working, they get $2,000 a month.
Oh, Bernie wants to give out a lot of money.
Yeah. And I'm like, of course, you know, I'm like, hell yeah, send that money my way.
So Bernie wants to give every working American $2,000 a month. For non-employed people, they get $600 a week.
So that'd be 6, 12, 18, about, wait, a week?
He said $600 a week.
That'd be like $2,100 a month.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, I'm all for Bernie. You know, he for the people. But
I voted for Bernie in the primary. It didn't, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted Bernie.
A lot of people wanted, we all wanted Bernie. But it brings me to the talking about lockdown. The next thing, I'm pretty sure you've seen it on social media too. They were talking about there's a possible vaccine that's almost ready to be like distributed or like given to people to help treat with this.
Honestly, I haven't been keeping up with that.
So, like, I feel like it's a lot. People are. I mean, once again, I haven't really researched it enough, so I'm just coming, you know, just speaking from the top of the dome. But some people are saying that it's like super close to being finished. Now, what super close to being finished in the science community probably means a whole different than like you doing something and like, hey, I'm almost done. So, but they were like, well, I think it was like around 90%. They're like, it's almost done. Like we could have it out. They were saying by December 11th. And I'm like,
dang.
You know,
everyone?
Not for everyone. It's going to be like a certain, I'm pretty sure what they'll do first, they'll give it to the people who are like working in hospitals and stuff like that.
And then the elderly.
And then everybody else who's not as likely to get it or be hurt by it as much, they'll probably get it last. But I'm going to be like, my question was, would you take it? Like once it like comes to you and they're like, hey, Jetty, we got these vaccines that are ready for you.
Can I take the second batch?
That's my first thought.
Honestly, I'm not against taking it. I would love to take it so, you know, the world can get better and we don't have to worry about this anymore. But that first batch, man, I don't know.
It's going to have a little hiccups in there. might mess with your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel it. I feel the same way. It's like, you know what? The other people who are braver than me, y'all go ahead first. Y'all be the heroes. You know, I wonder, you know how you get people who are like, who might be like, you know, I don't trust it. What if they're like, hey, we'll give you $5,000 to be the first people.
Oh,
You gonna take it?
man. Let's do it, man. Yeah,
Like, it is what it is.
They're trying to save me from a deadly disease and put $5,000 in my pocket.
You know,
it's a great country, bro.
Because, you know, there's just people out there who are like, no, I'm not taking this, right. You know. But
what do you think about people that say,
oh, Lord, I'm afraid of what you're about to say.
There's a microchip. They're going to inject a microchip. They will be tracking you.
How, like, my thing is, like, listen, first of all, the people that are saying that, I don't even know if they know a lot about science and technology. I don't know if they know how it works, even though I'm not that well versed either. So, I mean, people could be like, well, you don't know nothing either. But my thing is, like, okay, you taking the vaccine, you getting a shot, right? How is, like, that, how they putting a tracker in there? Like, I don't understand how something so small, unless are we to that point where technology's that advanced?
Micro SD cards, bro. Every time you fart, it takes a screen capture of your life.
You know, if that'd be hilarious, but no, I don't believe in that, man. I feel like we're still a little bit a ways from that. I feel like if there was going to be a chip installed, it'd be like an SD card. You could see it. They're like, and they'd have to be like, hey, we're going to install this in you.
Honestly, they've already got you by your cell phone.
Of course, exactly.
I mean, you walk around with this thing on you. It knows what you like and what you don't like, what you view. It knows if I watched your post for 30 seconds or for 3 seconds.
True.
It's there, you know.
True.
So
it just depends. You know, because I know Elon's talked about, like, you know, I want to microchip everybody.
Putting a real chip.
Yeah, putting a real chip.
What would you do that?
If it could, like, I'm not gonna lie, there are benefits, but there's also, like, pros and cons to it. You know, there's cons to it. Because, like, can you imagine how helpful it could be if, like, you got a chip, right? And it's like, hey, just want to let you know, they could catch diseases, like, super early or something and be like, hey, you're showing signs of this.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about more of, like, a video game standpoint. Like, you could just play a video game with your brain.
Oh, that sounds like Black Mirror. Isn't there? There's an episode of Black Mirror like that.
Is there? I don't know.
Where they?
Oh yeah.
You know, with the guy who was in Get Out. He's the main character where, like, he works out.
Oh, it was him?
Yeah, he was the main character in there, and he fell in love with this girl who was like a normal girl.
I'm thinking of a different episode.
Yeah, I think it was. I think in like the first season.
There was one where it was more horror. And this guy was in this house. In this
video
room.
game. It was virtual reality.
That was a different one.
Yeah, that was a different one.
Okay.
But he like, spoiler alert, he ended up dying because it was like, it felt real or something happened, it malfunctioned or whatever. And then I think it'd be interesting. Now, a part of me'd be like, no, because I'm over here going back and forth with it in my brain. A part of me feels like, well, they're going to track you. But then, like you said, I mean, your phone's already tracking you.
Right.
Like, they can hear you. And they're probably listening to this. And they're like, I don't hear podcasts talking about, we might need to keep our eyes.
Turn down their algorithm.
Exactly.
Do not share it with the public.
Exactly. But I don't know. I don't know. It just depends. But
how cool would it be if Elon was just like, hey, I'm giving an update to your brain today. Today, you're getting 10% more energy.
That would be scary if you said, when you put it like that. Yeah. That'd actually be a little scary. Like, because you got to think about it like this: if Elon's like, "Hey, I'm going to give you more energy," who's to say that he's not like, "Hey, I'm out to control how much of this they get today, this they get, or I'm going to make them more prone to want this today." When
he releases the new Tesla car, everyone gets a 50% boost in something. Yo, the government's listening to us right now.
I know.
There's a lot of cackling.
They're messing up the recording. We'll get to that point. I think it'd be interesting. A lot of people, I think, would be against Elon installing a chip just because aren't you kind of giving all the power to a person? Depending, because after a while, it's like, okay, who's to say somebody can't hack into it and do all these things? You know, that's like a little scary, like future thought. So, yeah. So going from that topic, speaking on like microchips and this vaccine, I wanted to bring up the topic of psychedelics. Have you ever done psychedelics?
One time.
Do you want to say what you did?
Mushrooms.
Yes. And how was your experience?
It was. It felt like a more intense version of a edible. I kind of like weed edibles. I'm not crazy about smoking. Smoking's cool, but I kind of like weed edibles the best out of all that stuff. And when I had mushrooms, it just felt like that, but more. I don't know the exact word.
Did you see anything? Like, were you seeing crazy imagery, or was it you were just like real chill and relaxed?
So the thing about me is I don't see things.
Oh, that's right.
In real life.
So it was just normal, but you felt more chill.
In case anyone hears this that didn't hear a previous episode, I have something called aphantasia. My brain cannot visualize images. My brain doesn't work like that. I can see things. I'm not blind, but my mind doesn't create things.
Gotcha.
Like that. But so maybe I even experience drugs differently than other people. Because I know people, when they do acid trips, they'll have all these weird little fractal images and things moving and things going crazy and all these colors. I mean,
You never seen nothing like that?
No, and I don't know if I would.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When you took mushrooms, it was more like it was like basically like being on an edible.
It kind of euphoric. You feel good. You're laughing at something. You don't even know why you're laughing. You feel good. And then at one point you're like, whoa, I feel too good. I don't want to feel this good anymore. Why do I feel, I get this weird thing. I get tingles in my arms. I don't know if that happens to other people, but that's kind of what happens when I get high.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I think I've only done psychedelics once. And that was I've eaten mushrooms just like you. Now I had a very different experience. I don't, to be honest, and I'll say I did this once, and then I'm not really big into psychedelics, just because I'm very much, I don't like losing control, and I don't want to be seeing stuff that I shouldn't be seeing, And so I remember one time I was hanging out with some friends, and they're like, "These are mushrooms." I looked at them like, these are just regular mushrooms? They're like, no, these like gonna make you trip. And I was like, okay. So I took them, and it took a little bit, kind of like an edible. It took a little bit to hit. Yeah. But once it hit, I kind of had like a little out of body experience where I kind of floated above myself, and I could look down on me in the room I was in. Cause I was creating music. I could see myself, and I could see my two friends. And I'm like, oh, is this what this is?
Now, when that happens, do you think that's real? Are you really
I don't know.
doing that, or do you think your brain is imagining that?
That's a good question. Yeah. It felt real. Yeah. I'll tell you that much. It felt real.
So you could see the top of your head.
Yeah, I could see the top of my head, and I couldn't see my face because of the way I was sitting. And so it was kind of like, if you think of like The Sims, the game, it was kind of like that, but I was angled at a way where I couldn't see my face. Yeah. But I could see my other friend's face. And so it happened, and then I was up there, and then I was like, I think it's so funny because when it happened and I was sitting there just floating, I'm like, I'm out of my body. I'm like, this is it. This is what people be happy about. And I was like, man, this is boring. And then
you had an out of body experience, and that wasn't enough for you?
I was like, this is lame.
For me, I just get tingles in my arms. I would love to float in the air. That would be amazing.
I just wasn't impressed.
It takes a lot to impress you.
Yeah, it does. No, I'm very like it takes a lot. And so I was just like, I mean, this is cool. It's not like I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go float around the galaxy or something. It wasn't like that. And maybe if I had more mushrooms, I probably would have been like super tripping. But I was just like, okay. And then I just told myself, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back in my body. And I just went back, and then I just came back, and I was like, man, this is lame. And I was like, but it's so funny because I actually I get more enjoyment from actually just drinking like alcohol, like it, because I guess for me, alcohol puts me in a good mood. I'm like, hey, more. I don't care as much anymore, and I'm just like, yo, I'm chilling.
Okay, question for you, being someone that can see things with your brain. When you do edibles or alcohol or weed or anything, does your brain see things differently?
No, it's actually funny when I drink alcohol or I smoke weed or eat an edible, what happens is my brain goes into this mode where it's like, okay, we're going to try to stay grounded as much as possible. And what happens is I don't allow myself to see those things. It's like, I think it's like a defense mechanism because the brain's like, all right, we don't need to be. Your
brain's like, hey, I don't want to be high.
Exactly. He's like, why are you putting me through this? And so I need to do everything to keep you grounded and here in your body. And I will say, though, there was when I had like one of my first edibles, and I remember it was a strong edible.
You got too high.
I got too high. The one thing that does happen to me that's really weird is every time I eat an edible, like around the top of my head, almost feels like on my brain, I feel this minty spinning air. It's really weird. Like what I'm telling you, it's really weird. It feels very fuzzy, and it feels like something is circling on my head. And then what ends up happening,
bro?
Yeah, I know, it's really crazy.
That's a halo. You're an angel, bro. You're a living angel, bro.
Lord.
Mint flavored angel.
Yeah, and then what happens is it goes down to my legs, and then my legs, they just sort of release all this tension to where they're like it feels like nothing feels tense. It's just very relaxed.
Your legs feel minty?
No, they don't feel minty. No, but then also what happens if I'm too high, my kind of like a messed up like DVD or like a old school like VHS, what happens is my brain skips. It can't.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
Yeah, so it can't, like, I could be listening and talking to someone, but what happens is my attention span just leaves, and what happens is what feels like a second has been like, oh, it's been 5 minutes.
Did you ever see that Adam Sandler movie?
Which one?
Where he it was like Fast Forward or something. Wasn't it Adam Sandler?
What is it? Yeah,
Rewind or
it was like, I think it was Rewind. I know what you're talking about, where he had a remote control. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember
it makes
that.
me think of that.
Basically, and then I go, oh shit. And what happens every time when I realize that I was zoned out, I go, all right, stay here, and it never works. And I just zone out again, and it happens until I'm just like, I need to go to sleep and sleep it off. So
have you ever so with me, when I get too high or too drunk, I'll try to go to sleep and lay in my bed, and I'll feel like I'm in the ocean. I'll literally feel like my bed is like moving, and I'm like, please just fall asleep. It's like a wave. It's like slightly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't want to be in the ocean right now.
That's hilarious.
That happen to you?
That never happens to me. What happens to me, I think maybe when I was younger and I drank a little bit more, but now I try to be more conscious about how much I drink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I've hit my point before I lose control.
Dude, now that you say that, I don't think I've been drunk in maybe a year or two.
Oh, wow.
Or no, that's a lie. I was drunk when we performed that night. For this little show we did with the 808 wave. I was definitely drunk that night. That was like February.
You did that to sort of like get rid of the jitters?
Yes.
That's funny. I'm
not a person that is used to that.
Yeah.
And I'm not a person that's 100% comfortable with being in front of a crowd.
Gotcha. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I kind of have the same thing, but the different thing that happens to me is that I'll be nervous up until that point, but as soon as it's like the song comes on, I change to somebody else, and I put on this like front where it's like, this is the artist, and that comes out, and I just zone into my performance.
You feel like a minty halo?
Minty halo, exactly.
Dang,
with wings coming out, it's real crazy. But like, I think after doing the shrooms, like, I think I was like, you know what, I'm good on this. I don't want to do this. I know a few people who are like big into psychedelics. And they're like, I see all this. I see the universe and all this. And I'm like, that sounds like you going crazy. And like, I think for me, this, like, it's cool for them, but I don't like want to take them anymore,
I don't know, man. It is interesting because I've heard, I think Joe Rogan's talked about that before, where there's certain things you take and it changes your mindset. It can even change you as a person.
No, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what that's like, but it is interesting, and I might like to try it, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not 100% on it.
Yeah, like, I think because people are saying that it does help, like, people deal with like depression and stuff like that. It changes. It does something where it helps. Yeah, and so. I mean, hey, if it works for them, cool. I think for me, I have a trouble. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to lose control. Like, I feel like I'll lose control and I'll go insane or something. So, but I mean, no, who knows? Maybe when I turn 90, I'll try it, because I'm like, well,
they're going to have you on something else when you're 90. You ain't going to be able to get mushrooms. You're going to have a little pill and
a little pill.
I'm serious,
Or true. But speaking on psychedelics, it made me bring up you, after this whole election process went on and stuff, you saw that in Oregon they legalized all drugs. Now, which is interesting to me because I think Joe Rogan's also talked about this, where he's like, yo, everything should be legal. Right. Just let it all be legal so that way. Right. Because he said something to the effect of like, when things are illegal, people want them doing more. Yep. But
That's
then
true.
when they're legal, that's so interesting to me. I'm like, how, like, what makes you? Because to me, like, I never want to do cocaine. Like, I never want to do crack. I never want to do all these drugs. And so I wonder what's the thing in people's brains that's like, I'm gonna do this.
Okay, so there's this country in South America. I should have looked this up before the podcast, but they did this with all drugs, and they actually saw a decrease in, I don't have all the stats. I forget, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think there was a decrease in crime. I think there was a decrease in drug use. I think there was a decrease in overdoses. There was a decrease in arrests, obviously, if it's, but literally they saw it as a positive thing. So I guess Oregon's going to see that too.
Yeah.
It does make it safer.
Yeah.
Because, say you want some meth, right?
Okay.
You gotta go out there and get some meth, but now it's not as shady. It's like you don't have to worry, that you're gonna get arrested or that the guy you're trying to buy it from is, you know what I mean? It makes it safer. I'm not explaining that well, but it does.
I get what you're saying.
And now one thing that's interesting though, what about the sale of drugs?
No, exactly.
Because guys that make meth, you're not gonna arrest them anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
How does that?
Or what happens to people before who sold before?
Well, they're screwed.
They're screwed.
Yeah. Because I mean, that's how it is in Denver,
that's
right?
how it was at the time.
Colorado, California.
Yeah.
People that got busted for weed a long time ago.
Yeah.
They're that's still on their record, even though it's mostly legal now.
Yeah, that's crazy to think, though.
Yeah.
Like, man, at one point this wasn't legal, but now it is, and so you just happen to do this in the wrong time period.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So is it safe to say that then you agree that all drugs should? Do you think all drugs should be legal?
Ooh.
Because I kind of feel like, me personally, I kind of feel like it should kind of be like alcohol to a certain point. Like, hey, you have to be a certain age to do it.
I don't.
But maybe
I see both sides of it. I feel like if it's a drug that destroys human beings, why would we allow? Thinking about meth. Meth is very toxic and very damaging. If we understand that, why do we want this to be legal and acceptable for people to take and put into themselves?
True.
So I think there's different degrees of drugs. Marijuana, it's a plant. It's from the ground. It's natural. That's not going to ruin your life. Meth is like this crystal that's cooked in a laboratory and,
got all these chemicals and everything in there.
So I feel like there's varying degrees of it, but I don't know which way to lean on that.
Yeah, I can kind of see both sides.
Yeah.
My only playing devil's advocate to that is that, well, a part of me is be like, well, just let people make their own decision. Who's to say that what's best for them?
Well,
like, it's kind of like, when you tell it, I mean, perfect example, alcohol. We all know it's bad for you.
Yeah.
We all know it does bad things to your body. Your body, it poison. It's basically poison.
Yeah.
But yet it's still legal. People still choose to go drink it. They know the consequences that come with it.
Yeah.
So why not do that for, all the drugs? What they should do, though, but alcohol doesn't do this, but what they should do is kind of like how they did in school. They were like, this is what people look like who do this drug. And they should put it like big billboards over every alcohol or every drugstore and be like, hey, this is what you'll look like, potentially like if you do this drug.
Go buy a 10-pack of meth from the gas station and there's a picture of someone's face on the box.
Yeah.
They have like one tooth.
But I feel like if you do it like that, what ends up happening is, I think what would happen to people be like, well, I don't want to do that. Because then it'd be like, well, it's legal. Anybody can do it, And so I feel like if you let people decide at the end of the day, of course, I think the most human response is to be like, we need to save everybody, But the reality is you can't save everyone. And then I think, but of course you want to be like, well, I want to do as much as I can to save all the people. But some people will probably be like, well, no, let people make decisions. Let them do that, And they should have examples to be like, hey, this is... it's kind of like people who do meth. People are like, never do meth. Like, never.
Yeah.
It's really bad, And so I feel like a part of me feels like all drugs should be legal, but
you think it should be legal everywhere in the United States?
Yeah,
really,
I think so. I mean, because then it doesn't make sense why not if only select areas. I feel like Oregon is going to be like a research study. It's going to be a study, and they're going to be like like you were talking about. We noticed that once all of these things were legal, nobody did anything, or they only stuck to weed, And then I think from there, just kind of how like Colorado was the first state to like legalize marijuana, and people saw like, damn, business, they made like over $1 billion, or however much money they make, they're gonna be like, oh, okay. I feel like when you open the gates and you just let people choose, I think people tend to be crazy. Like, okay.
So when we're 80, we're gonna go outside and there's gonna be a meth store, and there you can just go in there and buy a pack of meth.
I mean, you could if you wanted to do that.
Can you imagine that?
That'd be crazy.
Like
I don't think there'd be like a big meth store, but I could be wrong. No. It'd be so funny. What if like there were certain states like where because certain places have drugs that are more popular than others. So like Florida, you had cocaine and like a cocaine Walmart or something. Yeah. This is from Colombia. This is from Argentina. Like
Georgia's gonna be the weed.
Oh
state.
yeah, definitely. They probably be the weed.
Dude, when I first got to Atlanta, I think I got out of my car and I smelled a whiff of it, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah,
I'm in Atlanta.
Well, yeah, when
I didn't even see anybody around. The air just smelled like weed for a second.
Yeah, it's hilarious. You'll be like in the city, and you'll just pull up somewhere and be like, damn, somebody's smoking that loud. Like, what the hell? It's crazy. But okay. So then, last thing on this topic. So then, so you don't know which way to lean? You said
drugs are bad. Okay. Don't do drugs, kids.
I think you can still say that and they still be legal. And then you should just allow people to be like. Kind of like how they do, what is it? Make advertisements like running for the election. I endorse this. Drugs are bad.
Well, we don't allow people to jump off of buildings.
True, but they still do it.
Yeah. But if we see somebody on the edge of a building, we try to tell them don't jump.
Well, what about, what is it called? Skydiving.
Well, you got a parachute on your back.
What if they had a parachute?
No.
But yeah,
I don't know.
No, I get it. I get you. Makes sense. How do y'all feel about it? Y'all think drugs should be legal? All of them? Let us know in the comments. In the Instagram. Not All Here podcast.
I don't trust y'all.
So, going from psychedelics, we're going to go to something that is crazy and dope. It's Jetty Jetty with Your World News.
Okay. Oregon, how about that? Look at that.
Look at that. Wow, on topic.
Oregon man sues, alleging he went to doctor for distress over marital woes, only to find the physician was having an affair with his wife.
Wait, hold on. Run that back. You said he went to the physician to do what?
He went to a doctor for distress over marital woes.
Holy.
Only to find out the physician is the person that was having an affair with his wife.
So hold on.
It's a small world.
You mean to tell me he went to someone, he was like, yo, I'm stressed out. I need something to chill me out.
Yeah.
And the probability, the likelihood that the person that he went to ended up being the dude that was smashing his girl.
Yes.
Yo.
Also staying on topic. So he's from Bend, Oregon. He was experiencing depression as a result of his failing marriage. So he went to his family physician, who counseled him on ways to improve his marriage and prescribed him marijuana and CBD.
Yo, hold on real quick. He had to have known, right? That this is...
He did not know beforehand.
No, I'm talking about the physician. He was like, I'm smashing this dude's wife. And he's like, hey, chill out with some weed. I wonder if he knew.
I'm not sure if the doctor knew or not. That would be interesting.
He was still foul, but okay.
He prescribed him herbs and breathing techniques for his depression in addition to marijuana and CBD. After the visit, the man learned that the doctor had been involved with his wife for an extended period of time. The couple later divorced.
Damn, I hope he got everything. I do, because most of the time it's the other way around.
That's tough, man.
That is tough. Damn. Can you imagine that?
Bad coincidence.
You're like, Doc, I'm stressed. Like, oh, yeah, just have this or whatever. And then you find out, this motherfucker.
I need help with my wife, Doc. He's like, oh, I know.
I know what to do. I'll help her. Sounds like a bad porno.
Dang. Okay. China has launched the world's first 6G satellite, but we don't even know what 6G is yet.
Hold on. I'm still at 5G. Hold on.
I don't even know if I have 5G. I might still have 4G.
I think technically we still all have 4G. Some phones are like, this is 5G, but reality it's still 4G.
Oh.
It's just like for some reason they're trying to, like, companies are trying to make it like we're more advanced than other companies.
China's doing something funny. They successfully launched a long Mach 6 rocket and sent a payload of 13 satellites into orbit. Among them, what has been described as the world's first 6G satellite. The problem is the rest of the world is still several years away from agreeing what 6G will even be. So basically, I didn't know this. There's like an association, a global partnership known as 3GPP, which defines what these things actually are.
Oh, and like what they do and stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's like this organization that's like, okay, this is what 5G is. This is what 6G is.
This is how it'll affect you.
Technology is always progressing. And China's just like, nope, we're already there.
They're like, man, y'all late, man.
Yep.
That's so 2000.
They got 6G in China, bro.
Wow. Yeah. Their internet's like fast as hell.
Okay, moving on. Biker with meth. See, guys.
See, it's a drug podcast now.
Don't do
this
meth.
episode. No.
Biker with meth falls during race, accidentally shoots himself before getting hit by a car.
Do you know if he survived?
Yes.
Oh. See, kids, don't do meth.
A man in possession of methamphetamine was critically injured Thursday after falling while racing on his motorcycle, during which he accidentally shot himself, then got hit by a car, according to the Kansas City Police Department.
Man, what a series of events. He's over here like, I'm feeling all this rush from this meth. Let's race. Let's fall over, shoot myself, and then get hit by a car.
During the accident, a weapon in his waistband discharged, striking him in the hip, and he was also struck by another vehicle that fled the scene.
Wow. See?
He was transported to an area hospital in critical, non-life-threatening condition. A records check revealed him to be a felon, and a large bag of methamphetamine was located.
Damn, man. See?
Imagine a guy does meth, shoots himself, and then you run into him, and then you leave the scene.
And get away.
Dang.
That's crazy.
That's a strange...
Talk about
Kansas City. This is what's going to happen in Oregon.
No, I don't think so. I think that's a little over.
Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be tripping on different drugs, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god,
I'm gonna shoot myself."
No, he's gonna be like, "I accidentally shot myself." That's hilarious.
Okay, do I have more? Scientists create diamonds at room temperature in minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the gemstones are usually created after carbon is crushed and heated far beneath the Earth's surface over billions of years, which is what makes them so coveted. Now, scientists in Australia have sped up the process into just a matter of minutes and at room temperature.
Yo, you know what's funny is I actually kind of knew this.
Really?
Yeah, because at the job that I used to work at, not gonna mention no name, but I had a friend of mine who...
It was the hot square?
It was a hot square. A friend of mine he had gone to school to try to be a jeweler. And he was telling me, he's like, there's a lot of synthetic diamonds out there. And he's like, they're getting so good to the point to where, there's some like diamond testers.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah. Sometimes they can't even tell.
Wow.
And they're getting so good to the point that where like some people can like fake it so well, and it's really crazy. And I feel like maybe if this keeps happening like that, I feel like diamonds might go out of style for a little bit.
The price is going to
go way down. Yeah.
I mean, if they go from taking millions of years to create to being able to make them in minutes,
it's going to be like a little hot pocket, like a hot pocket diamond. I feel like what'll happen is people will try to go after like rarer stones or something, all these rubies and stuff.
Okay. Last most important story of the week. Tyson managers, they make chicken or something.
Oh yeah. The chicken. Yeah.
Whatever. Tyson managers suspended after allegedly betting if workers would contract COVID. So there's a lot of details to this, but I just thought the headline was the best part of the story.
That's hilarious.
Basically, they were saying, "Hey, $50 that Johnny catches it, He's like, nah, $100 that Kenny catches it.
Wow. And it was all the managers?
The managers were making bets on which workers would contract COVID.
They got gambling problems. Holy crap.
It's messed up. They got fired, I think. But this seems fun. I would like to bet on who.
That's crazy. I feel like the only reason why they probably got fired, they probably had real money on it. Like they were like, because if you're just playing a game, you're like, oh no, it's just, we're not really betting anything. Then they're like, hey, they'll probably give you a talking to. But they're like, hey, I got 100 saying that Joe over here, he gonna catch it in a week. You know, like that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But that was your news of the week.
That's it.
Jetty.
All right, so the creative corner this week is going to be super quick. Honestly, you've probably already heard this 100 times or 1,000 times, but I feel like it's important for people that are trying to be entrepreneurs, people that are trying to be artists, people that are trying to make a living in a non-traditional type of sense, non-traditional, like not a 9-to-5, not a regular thing. It's very important to get money in multiple ways. You always hear people say you need to have multiple streams of income. So, and I think it's important from a couple different, factors. Like, first of all, the more things you try, the more chances you're going to have to get it right. And then you may try 5 things, but then the 6th thing is actually the thing that really works for you.
You're fine.
My bad. So you may try 5 things, and the 6th thing is the thing that really works for you. Also, when it comes to trying to bring money in a non-traditional sense, one of these things may slow down, right? Businesses kind of fluctuate that way. I do cover art. Sometimes cover art's booming, sometimes it's not. But if you're doing multiple things, in those time periods where the cover art isn't booming, you're bringing in money in other ways and keeping that rolling and, keeping the dream alive, man. Yeah,
no, definitely. It's kind of like that old phrase, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, yep.
And, they always say, how many streams of income is it? It's like 8 or
I don't know.
It's like between 6 to 8 or something like that. You always want an income that is kind of consistent, and then you have one that you make while you're sleeping, and then you have.
I would love to have that.
I can't wait to get it. Like I can't wait. I cannot wait till I have one where I'm just like, I'm gonna sleep and I'm making money.
You know what I would love to own?
What's that?
A parking garage.
Oh man.
Because you literally make it, you build it, you put it somewhere, and then you don't have to ever go look at it again.
You just hire people to do it.
You just get money every single day from this this giant piece of concrete in the middle of a city. I would love to own a parking garage.
That'd be dope. But yeah, you should, just like get one thing going, and then just also like once you have that thing that's consistent, then be like, okay, how else can I expand? And that's how most of the time these people, your Jeff Bezos and all these other people are like, they don't have just one. They might have one thing where like it pays the most, but they're like, well, I got all these other revenues coming in as well that sort of help, and they end up just helping build up to however many billion he has now. But you have to keep pushing. And look, like Jetty was saying, is there's going to be a lot of times where stuff's not going to work, or it might not hit like right on the first time.
Yeah.
And another thing into it is like, what is it? It's like not controlling, but sort of setting your expectations, like it's good to have like what is it? Like high hopes for it.
Yeah.
But also be prepared that sometimes it might not work out on the first try.
Yeah.
And you kind of like how you're saying, like you do cover art. You might have a month you're like, damn, I'm selling like hotcakes over here, selling, and then 3 months you're like, shit, I'm not moving anything.
Yeah.
And it'd be like that. That's just how the world works.
Dude, just a quick story. My cover art was on fire back when when I was working a day job.
Yeah.
I quit my day job in July. It was on fire in July. And I had this technique, this little process through Instagram. And then Instagram changed the way they allowed something to happen. I'm not going to get into all that.
Yeah.
But my cover art just died
and went down
right when I quit my 9 to 5. So I just had to figure it out.
Yeah,
I had to be like, okay, I got to figure out a new way to get these customers.
Exactly. And that's how it be, man. And then also just doing research. That's like a big thing too. Like you got YouTube, man. Now in today's day and age, bro, you can learn everything from YouTube.
Right.
And people are willing to give out the sauce. They're like, hey,
oh yeah,
this is what worked for me. Now it might not work the same for you, but it's a starting place. And then it's trial and error.
And then don't watch too many YouTube videos.
No, exactly.
You can watch 1,000 videos on how to do something, and you're gonna get so confused, and then you're not even gonna do it.
Yeah,
it's great to get motivation, but you gotta put action into that. I used to watch too much of those videos, and I'd confuse myself.
Yeah, it's kind of like being an entrepreneur is basically kind of like being a scientist, and you're testing a theory. You have like this hypothesis, and you're trying to make sure, like, is this theory still correct? And then you're going through all this trial and error until you're like, it's not correct like this, but it's correct like this other way for me, you know? And that's how it is. So, man, you just stay strong, stay willing, stay diligent, and just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at that point in the podcast where we're going to go ahead and get into our not all here moments. And Jetty, I'm going to let you start it off.
All right, so this one's a little bit edgy, bro.
Uh-oh.
It's a little bit edgy.
Oh, boy. People about to comment. They're about to cancel.
This is my story about the time I was accidentally racist.
Oh, my God.
Do you remember this story?
Now it clicked in my head. Boy, people about to be like, oh, my Jetty.
You think they're going to cancel me?
No, they probably won't cancel.
Okay.
I mean, how old were you?
I was grown.
Oh. Okay. No, but
I was in college.
I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
All right. I love all people of all colors and all ethnicities.
You're like, he didn't say colors right. He said color.
Okay. I was going to Clemson. I was attending Clemson. And at Clemson, there was a rec center. You know what I mean? You can go in there and play basketball. For some reason, Fridays was literally like Asian Day. It's like...
Okay.
I'm not even trying to be funny there. Like
Gotcha.
For some reason, like all the Asian guys went there on Friday to ball. It was like an actual thing. I forget what it was called.
Gotcha. Okay.
And honestly, I like to go in there on Friday because my performance was I was better on Fridays. You know what I mean? It was dope playing ball on Fridays.
Okay.
Okay. So one particular Friday, I was in there hooping, you know what I mean? Bunch of Asian dudes. And I jump up and I block this guy's shot. And I yell out, "Hiya."
Moment of silence.
And I mean, it wasn't a regular block.
It just came out. I
just yelled out like "Hiya." Like,
you weren't thinking this guy's Asian. I know something that's gonna get him.
So I like demolished this shot. I like really blocked it, and I yelled "Hiya." And after it, I felt weird, like in my brain, I didn't think, I'm gonna go block this guy's shot and yell "Hiya."
Yeah, exactly. It just happened.
It was like subconsciously. And I think we had been watching like Kung Fu earlier in the week, like me and my roommates.
Yeah.
And bro, it just happened.
Oh my God.
And I feel kind of bad about it. It is a funny story. And I think dude felt a way about it. And then
now, was there awkward silence or did the game keep going?
The game kept going.
But he was like, this.
Oh, he knew. He looked at me like
he said, "Oh." he wanted to like.
And then I think the next time down court, I think he did cross me over and scored. So he got his revenge like right away.
Oh man, he just said, "Get out of my way," and then just did a little move.
And I mean, what would be like the retaliation for a white person? Like, what would you even like yell out to a white person? Like,
you could probably say "cracker, honky," or you could say, "Do you want mayonnaise?" No.
You just yell that out while you cross somebody over.
Hey, mayonnaise. Hey, stuff like that. That's hilarious.
But yeah, man, shout out to that guy.
Did you ever see that guy again? Like at another time when you went to go hoop?
No.
Oh, he was like, "No, I'm not coming back to this place. They accept racists here."
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's my story, man. Quick one. You know what I mean?
Wow. Trying to think. I feel like I have a story, but I don't know if it really registers, like it counts as a notto here. I'm still gonna tell it.
Okay, dope. We actually get a story.
Yeah. So because I didn't know if I was gonna, but to me it's hilarious. But so when I was young, like around 12 or 13, I think my little brother was probably like 8, 9 or something like that. My mom loved to do this. She did everything single mom as much as she could to, give us the whole world, And I remember one year we had a go-kart. And when you're young, like you're a kid, you're like, a go-kart?
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, you're like, holy shit. And at the time we had like a big backyard, so we would do just a circle. We made our own little track where we just go around, even though all you're doing is basically like NASCAR. You're just like,
yeah.
And then one day, me and my little brother, we would trade because it was a one-seater. And I remember we would always go around. We kind of lived near a country area. And I remember one time we started going around the neighborhood in the go-kart. We were like, well, it's not a busy street. It's like the countryside. Nobody really cares. And it's so much fun because we were like, we can hit the gas and we can go. I remember one time in our neighborhood, side thing, in our neighborhood, there's actually these ditches that are humongous. Now, they're like, I want to say they're like 3 or 4 feet deep.
Yeah.
You know, and it's pretty hard to fall in there. Like, you just don't, like, that's not a thing that you just do. You fall in on accident.
You ever jump across them?
No, never. Because I was just like, why would I do that? So
I used to do that as a kid.
So I remember one time, so we live on this long street, and there's like the corners, they're kind of short. It's not as long as the neighborhood street. And I remember one time we were driving and my little brother goes, I want to get on, and I kind of didn't want to give up the driver's seat. And I was like, let's just go around together. And I keep in mind, this is a one-seater. It's not meant for 2 people. Now, also, if you guys don't know, when I was younger, I was a little bit heavier. I was like a big kid. I was like big. And I remember I told my little brother, like, hey, just sit on the side, because the wheel had like this thing, this sort of covering.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay. So he got on the side and we're driving around having a blast. And I remember in our street, it had gravel sometimes. You see rocks or whatever. And I remember I hit a turn, and I hit the turn too hard. And at the time, I didn't realize that, you know, if you turn too hard, sometimes the thing will swing. So I remember what ended up happening was the day before it had rained, right? And so there's a puddle in the ditch. And I swerved and I lost control. Now, I'm over here stepping on the brakes. It's approaching this ditch that's like 4 or 5 feet deep. And everything's going in slow motion as I'm going to the ditch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. And my brother's name's Vince. I'm like, Vince, get out of here. I'm like, get out. And like, you know, like a movie.
You were hydroplaning?
Well, yeah, kind of, sort of. So I was like hydroplaning going into the ditch.
Okay.
And so what ended up happening, it's hydroplaning and it gets to the edge of the ditch. And I think that I've stopped in time. But because it had rained, I start slipping in. So it starts going in. And then I yell, get out, jump, jump. And he jumps. And I kid you not, what I'm about to tell you, I kid you not, time slows down. I look up at him. The sun is hitting him from behind. So it's causing this silhouette, like just him. And he jumps up like an angel, like this with his wings out, just his arms out, like he's about to hug somebody. And I kid you not, I look up as I'm still in the driver's seat because I have a seatbelt on and I don't have enough time to get out. And I'm like, well, if anybody's gonna fall, it'll be me. And I look up and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And then like at that moment, time just speeds back up and he jumps out, hits the street. I get into the ditch. I'm wet. It's all crazy.
Wow.
But
so he was fine.
He was fine because I told him to jump out, and like I was over here trying to fiddle with the damn seatbelt.
Did you get hurt?
No, I didn't get hurt. Okay. And then afterwards, we just got back on the go-kart. But for that brief moment, I was like, "This is like a movie. I've seen this before," and it was real crazy. And then I think after that, it did mess up the go-kart a little bit, and my mom got mad because the go-kart was expensive, and she was like, "What the hell are y'all doing?" But at the same time, I mean, it's a go-kart.
Yeah,
you know, it's meant to like rumble and tumble and go all around. But but then in reality, when I looked at the ditch, it wasn't even like that crazy deep to where he needed to jump. He literally could have just stepped out, like. He could have literally
being dramatic.
Yeah, I was being very dramatic because time slowed down, and then he actually went with it because I guess I'm his older brother, and he just took off, and I was like, man, this dude got some hops. I was like, damn, and everything slowed down, and he actually got like a little scab or whatever on his knee because he hit the street, and then I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Felt like a movie though.
You know, there's some science shit behind that.
Really?
Like when you're in pressure situations, your brain actually like can control time kinda and slows down the way you perceive time around you.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can look it up. I read about it one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice play on words. Yeah. I read it one time.
That's everything in my life. Anything I ever tell you, I read it one time, and I might be telling you like a piece of how true it is.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that was episode 5. We made it to 5.
Woo!
Here's to 5 more. If I had my drink, clink. I don't have anything in here, but that's episode 5 of the Not All Here podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media. It's Not All Here podcast on Instagram, YouTube, right? YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Make sure to follow Cool Ass People. That's Cool ASSPPL on Instagram. Do we have Twitter? No Twitter. Okay.
Oh, Cool Ass People does.
Yeah. Cool Ass People on Twitter too. Yeah. Follow our personal pages. Mine's It's Easy L, ITS Easy ELL. Jetty.
JRB the producer. Also, whatever you're listening to this on, give us a subscribe. Hit that little plus button.
Yeah. Follow us on Spotify. Yeah. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts. Please write us a review. Rate us. It helps us out so that way we get exposed to more people.
Yeah.
And we'll be forever indebted to you.
Yeah.
Also, Jetty dropped a single, Cautionary Tales.
Yep.
Did us a little video. It's on all streaming services. I dropped Galactic Pimpin', available on all streaming services. Beat tape, super dope. People vibing with it. Thank you guys for everybody who's been vibing with it. Got more on the way. And other than that, man, we hope that the rest of your week goes smooth. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yo.